You know, with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, it has to be said that they have treated many of the senior members of their own family very, very badly. Tawdry would be the word I would say, and very disrespectful. Now, whether you like His Majesty the King, King Charles III or not, what you can see, there's a kindness there. You know, there's no two ways about it. And I think that really shone on, of course, the Platinum Jubilee when the little bit naughty Prince Louis, well, he wanted to sit on Granddad's lap, and king or no king, he had to give in because the child wanted to do it. But you could see that he absolutely delighted in this role. And really, people sort of give Charles a bad rap about his parenting skills. Let's not forget, a king in waiting and, of course, a monarch still on the throne. But a lot to learn, a lot to do. And I believe, if you look at, say, His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, Prince William, that he did a terrific job being a parent. But there's always somebody, as we can see, spare in hair, etc., who basically was always going to be aggrieved. But there was one thing in particular that literally turned Prince Charles, well, to a full 90 degrees. Let me explain. Morning, nice to see you. I'll have a wave. Are you all right today? I'm all right, thank you. In this beautiful, glorious sunshine. Always nice to have your company, whatever you're doing, chumps. And, as I said, it doesn't matter who you are, does it? You look back at parenting skills, and it's strange, isn't it, how two people from the same family can be totally different. As we saw with Prince Harry, he was very detailed, wasn't he? Even about talking about the sort of infamous, how can you put it, attachment to Major James Hewitt, and how even, apparently, his father said, well, they say I'm your father. He was joking. But Harry literally took that another way. And he didn't say at what age that came around, did he? So it wasn't at a tender age. It was very much at an adult age as a joke. I know someone who was there when it happened. So consequently, again, Harry stretching the truth. We've seen this time and time again. Now, here's where this gets really interesting, because as they basically decided to quit the royal family and start a life anew, it was all about the freedom flight and being independent, doing their own thing. We can live without you. We don't need the royals, all that sort of stuff. But what was perplexing was, and I told you this before, which I found incredibly disingenuous and hurtful for His Majesty the King, was the fact that he'd funded their very first year, very quietly, without fanfare. But neither one of Harry or Meghan had the kindness or the courtesy to actually say, well, yes, what did Harry say? My father cut me off financially. You're a middle-aged man, get a job, would be my response. But this, of course, is Harry always feeling bad for himself. Now, here's where this gets even more interesting, because as we know, Harry and Meghan decided to go and stay with someone who they'd never even met. Think about this, right, in the context of what it is. There this guy is, Tyler Perry. You've never met him, but suddenly he offers you his billionaire house and you say, yes, please, we'll come and stay. No checks, really. No sort of security worries or anything like that. They just vaulted over there, even though Harry said on that famous video, no, we don't know him. Well, they didn't know many people at their own wedding, did they? Now, what was interesting again, and this is a really, I think, twist in the turn, and this must have come only from Meghan Markle, was the simple fact that His Majesty the King had been very kind, or Prince Charles as it was then, by saying, well, let me help you find somewhere to place yourself for your first year. Where do you want to go? We can work it out. Now, we've seen that he did this with, of course, the Queen's personal dresser, Angela Kelly. Very kindly, without fuss, and, of course, without sort of, prominence, sorted her out to go and live very much near her own children back up in the north of England. But Harry and Meghan refuted this offer. No, we don't want you. Basically, they were cutting him off and basically said they had their plot. Right? And the reason why I point this out is talking to someone very close to His Majesty the King, and you know who these people are. This is what you find out when you have coffee and conversation, and you find that actually they obviously had this narrative that they wanted to go down. And the cruelty of it is that, yeah, they took the money. They could have had a lot more, because King Charles, Prince Charles, whatever he was at the time, was literally waiting and ready and helping. He wanted to see whether they could in fact forge a life. He certainly didn't feel trapped, as Harry and Meghan both pointed out, with Oprah Winfrey. But to then say that they were cut off financially, and the fact that they were staying with someone who they'd never met, in the case of Tyler Perry, once again is 100% untrue. And one wonders, of course, when you dig a little bit deeper into these stories, why His Majesty the King even bothers trying to be civil when all of that has been thrown against you. And even now, literally even now, at the very difficult period in his life where he's battling ill health, there's still no giving up. And that is, I believe, the true characters of the Sussexes. Anybody else agree? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.